There is some very interesting things happening right now around this space, and it feels as though the banks are infiltrating this space in a very large way, and we are going to be talking about it. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. In a recent video that got posted by Subjective Views, it's outlining Canton Network, and we have SBI Digital Asset joins Global Synchronizer as a super validator steering the financial highway of the future. Digital Asset Com, Digital Asset's Canton Network, a decentralized system where financial apps operate independently yet interact seamlessly, has been enhanced by the newly launched Global Synchronizer. Similar to a financial highway, this infrastructure enables risk-free value exchange between apps using a utility coin, Canton Coin, and decentralized governance supported by the Linux Foundation. The key participants, including SBI Digital Asset Holdings and Zodiac Custody, are involved in governance and node operation roles. The Global Synchronizer addresses the need for interoperable tokenization in regulated financial markets by linking siloed DLT networks, aiming to streamline transactions and improve efficiencies in capital markets. I strongly encourage everyone to join the free Discord. There's going to be a link at the top of the description below. This is one of the most valuable and informative Discords out there, and it's completely free. There's a free side that has a ton of free crypto gems, free market strategies, guides, market trends, free charts, and there's also going to be new cheat sheets dropped in this Discord. And already, we have a ton of testimonials from members of the Discord that have been absolutely loving it. So what are you waiting for? Go and click the link at the top of the description below and join the free Discord. In this clip below, the first speaker is the co-founder and head of strategic initiatives, Digital Asset, gives a brief overview of Canton Network. And then also the second speaker here is the head of digital assets at the DTCC, which is settling it's $3 quadrillion now per year in securities transactions. And they're saying that it's a monumental step in the right direction. And with Canton, what you have is the highway. Check this out.
What are you playing with currently, Eric?
Well, yeah, I guess I'll start with it's very cool to be on such an esteemed panel of the visionaries who are changing capital markets. I definitely am the odd man out up here on stage. On Monday, we had a really fantastic announcement. 30+ organizations came together and announced the promotion of the Canton Network's Global Synchronizer, and Canton Coin have been put into production. This marks the official categorization of the Canton Network as a public permissioned network, which is a pretty cool distinction we'll talk about a little bit over this panel, I think. And what this means for me is that the tyranny of public permissionless and private permissioned is finally over. I want to thank the Linux Foundation. They're here. They supported this launch in a couple key ways. First, all the code for the Global Synchronizer and the Canton Coin have been open sourced and provided to the Hyperledger, soon to be LFDT, so that there's community governance over all the code of this service. And the second way that they supported this launch was that they supported the formation of a foundation that'll help govern this infrastructure in Canton Coin. And so, again, it's just a really important distinction from what is ordinarily considered just a false choice between public permissionless and private permissioned. And I think this term public permissioned is yet to really be fully defined in the ecosystem. But the way we like to think about it is just think about the internet. It's an experience that's already deeply familiar to everybody here. It's clearly a public network. Anyone with a browser can access anything in that ecosystem. Everybody goes to the same place. Everybody can find all the apps. But that doesn't mean I get to see all the bank accounts in HSBC. It doesn't mean I get to see all the securities positions at the DTC. So when I go to join one of these apps, I step into their boundary of control. And that's exactly the way that Canton works, with one very important distinction from the internet today, where we have native interoperability, which again, I think is going to be a big topic here. And so, we're really excited to have the opportunity to start to take the trillions of dollars of real world assets that are moving through the Canton Network and start to connect them together and demonstrate what it means to no longer have silos and messaging and reconciliation, but instead have this native transactional experience across all the different apps in the ecosystem. So very proud to be one of the members that have launched this decentralized ecosystem. I guess maybe put simply, public blockchain is finally open for business for regulated institutions and real world assets at scale.
Cool. Congrats.
Just building on the comments, and Eric, congratulations. We do agree it's a monumental step in the right direction. It is just to echo, it's about adoption, it is about scale, it's about liquidity and risk management. And it does start in the infrastructure. I mean, Matt just said how many CSDs we need to connect our platforms, and I think that is part, the balkanization of the infrastructure for digital has been something that's kept us all back. So I think with Canton, what you do have is now we have the highway, and we've got to be able to build the rails or the cars that go on it in a way that's more where we talk to each other. And today we do have financial market infrastructure. I think the story of our demise has been greatly exaggerated. These FMIs will be around for a while. They will continue to provide that service. And the question is, how do we work with John and Matt and Nelson and everybody else to get a common infrastructure that's maybe at 80% that talks to each other? I'm not telling everybody to leave their platforms. That is not realistic, but we do need to figure out a way to leverage things that are today operational so we can speed up that adoption. I think markets are getting anxious. I think our common investors are getting anxious. So it is really, you called it 3.0, it is really time to now to flip this equation and be able to speed up adoption. There's a lot of goodness in this technology, and we're not able to harvest it mainly because of our fragmentation.
And did you hear what she just said? Speed up the adoption and really kind of tear down those walls around fragmentation. This supports what the BIS also told us about interconnectedness. They want a multi-ledger future. This is where XRP, XDC, Hbar, all of those big players are now becoming a part of this grand scheme. Now, talking about that, here is the breakdown of the Canton Network. Now, I went over here and I summarized it with ChatGPT. We have on July 1st of this year, key market participants behind the Canton Network announced the launch of the Global Synchronizer, a decentralized infrastructure designed to enhance interoperability in financial markets. This new system aims to facilitate the tokenization and seamless exchange of regulated financial assets, following a decade of development and extensive testing, including the Canton pilot program, which, by the way, what does that confirm? A decade, over 10 years now of development and testing of this. This is why I always say, on the back end, you have institutions here. You have TradFi people building out solid applications behind the scenes. While everyone panics, everyone is speculating on what happens next, they're already here. They're already, building. And we have the Canton Network addresses the need for efficient management of tokenized assets and the integration of new applications and liquidity on-chain. It supports various forms of participation, such as running super validators, nodes, joining the Global Synchronizer Foundation, or developing applications on the network. Key participants include companies like 7ridge, Bitwave, Broadridge, and SBI Digital Asset Holdings. And we have the Global Synchronizer operates on a decentralized public permission blockchain, enhancing privacy control and interoperability while reducing operational cost and risk. And the CEO of Digital Asset emphasized the strategic vision and collaboration that have driven this initiative. The Linux Foundation supports the Global Synchronizer Foundation, ensuring transparent and neutral governance. Additionally, the network introduces Canton Coin, a utility token for paying traffic fees and incentivizing the development of applications within the ecosystem. The core technology for the Global Synchronizer has been open sourced under Hyperledger Labs, named Splice, to promote further decentralized infrastructure development. So you have two players here that we need to focus on: Linux Foundation and Hyperledger. And I'm going to talk about why. Over here, we have the breakdown of the Canton ecosystem. Again, some great names on here. You have major banks, Aberdeen, connection back to Hedera there, for an example. Major banks, though, massive giants. You have Citi on here, Deutsche Bank. I even think that JP Morgan's on here as well. So, just think about every major TradFi name that is being tapped in now through Canton Network. This is where we start to see the foundation changing. This is where we start to see the plumbing changing. This is very interesting. And remember who these names are. Going back to the announcement, right? Like you have SBI and Zodia. SBI has investments into major giants out there. For an example, their partners, SC Ventures from Standard Chartered. You also have SBI, major SBI, right? DBS, R3. DBS has connections back to Hedera. Standard Chartered has connections back to Ripple. So does SBI itself. For example, we also have XDC, SBI XDC Network, APAC. This was a major announcement, I think, back around like November or so. Beyond this, you also have SBI Holdings, SBI Ripple Asia. These are like the major players that are being tapped in. And then also SC Ventures, Standard Chartered, investment into Ripple, as well as a few other major names. Beyond that, we also have over here Ripple. Industry leaders from Zodia Custody, Standard Chartered, HSBC, and Medico discuss strategic objectives, institutional use cases, and optimizing efficiency in tokenized economy. Again, Zodia Custody with Standard Chartered, HSBC, and Medico. Medico is now Ripple. But we go back over here to the announcement, Zodiac Custody and SBI, major connections back to Ripple. And listen closely to this video clip.
Collaboration is always much more successful, providing we have a set understanding of what the rules of the game are, and that really comes down to the regulatory aspect that we have, that ensures that at the end of the day, the owner of the asset can sleep at night in the knowledge that they know what they own and they have legal title to it. It's being kept in a secure way.
And this is where custody comes into play. This is where, you know, having that market behind tokenization also comes into play. And Ripple is also trying to do this. But then when we also look at the other names here, like XDC as well, you need to focus on XDC. But let's go back to that announcement, right? Because I focused on the Linux Foundation and Hyperledger. Why? Well, here we have the Linux Foundation, their recent announcement around their decentralized trust, right? This is welcome to the new LF decentralized trust. We go over here, right? We could see some of the names behind this. So their full focus is to build out this full-on platform, essentially, under the Hyperledger ecosystem, as you guys do see here. And this is to accommodate additional technologies and communities. And it's to foster the broader ecosystem. They're going to encompass the growing portfolio of Hyperledger projects and host new open source software, community standards, and specifications that are crucial to the macro shift towards decentralized systems of distributed trust. And they do focus on asset tokenization. Tokenization is the big focus of this, specifically modernizing the core infrastructure for finance, trade, government, healthcare, and more. So tokenization is the core thing that they are looking at here. Now, I don't know if they're mentioning any major names here that are behind this, but some of the names that are included, for example, you have Accenture here, Chainlink, the DTCC, you have Digital Asset, the Digital Chamber. You also have the DTCC mentioned again, Deutsche Telekom, Hedera. There's a lot of great names from the space that are tied to this. I know that Hedera is definitely one of them. We made a video recently on this, but you could also see some of the other names behind Linux. But outside of this, building upon this, we have to go look at Hyperledger because this is the DLT landscape. These are the names behind Hyperledger. You have Accenture, you have the DTCC, you have Hitachi, and then here you have major banks like Citi, for example. But you also have major blockchain names like Casper on here. Casper, Energy Web, Hedera. I mean, the list goes on. You also have Ripple on here as well. You have Chainlink. I don't think that Stellar is on here, but you also have other names down here. Or Stellar is actually on here. I forgot that Stellar is mentioned on here, but so many great names from the space that are within the Hyperledger DLT landscape, where now you have those connections back to even the Canton Network. Through something like this, it's very similar to like Overledger, right? Where Overledger allows for, plug and play of this technology into the traditional system. That's exactly what this basically is, where you have, that fragmentation getting completely destroyed. Now you can realize in all of this technology. And even when you look at the Linux Foundation and what they're doing here, because again, they're tied back to the Canton Network, as you guys do see here, they support the global synchronizer. Their focus is to utilize tokenization to modernize the core infrastructure around everything. We're talking about healthcare, we're talking about finance, we're talking about anything that you can think about. Like, this is where all of it begins. This is the start of that major shift. And remember, because of Hyperledger is the major name behind all of this. They already have some of the biggest names tied to their network already. Like, for example, Casper, Xrp, Xlm Hbar. And it's just to mention a few, but also, considering the fact that Canton is also working with SBI, well, now we also have to, tie into XDC. We have to tie into XRP. We have to look at, those connections, and then even Zodiac Custody as well. Like, we've been focused on some of these names for a while, and we're now starting to see, the path being forged to having traditional finance, utilizing these new age technologies. They're now also announcing the fact that, after a decade of trialing something and building something like the Canton Network, they're now pushing this and ready to full on, utilize this technology through these networks like Canton. And when you have the DTCC who settles $3 quadrillion per year in securities transactions, when we know securities are going to be tokenized, and they're saying like, hey, this is a monumental step in the right direction with Canton, what you have is the highway. This is the highway from the destination of DLT to TradFi. This is very exciting stuff. If you are in crypto, if you are focused on utility, this is where things start to really get interesting. I do believe that we're starting to see that pathway, or if, in this case, that highway being created, being forged, so that we have the traditional giants, moving over that highway from DLT to TradFi and back and forth. So with that being said, if you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.